this week some more GBA games went on sale. So WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games is available for $6.99 US. This game was originally released on the GBA in 2003, and I consider it one of the greatest games of all time.
Oh my God, me too.
I absolutely love what that game is and what it does. And some people feel that's a little too much, but I'm sorry. Like, we can talk about it one day. We'll bring it up here. Maybe we can bring it up now. What makes WarioWare so amazing?
It's funny. It's it's the unexpected, right? Like, even you're never sure what's coming up, and then there's always a twist on it, and it just gets frantic, and it's just like, it's so surreal.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens.
Right.
It's like NES Remix, but then like the Japanese comedy version.
Okay.
It's sort of invented mobile gaming in a weird way. Like, it's got these completely very strange, very arbitrary, bite-sized versions of games, and it harkens back to the NES era where it was just like, there's a game called, Ball Kick, and like that was the box art, just a ball kick, and then you hit the thing into the goal and you win. Yeah. And you go on iOS now, and there's Flappy Bird, right? Like Flappy Bird would have been
a 2-second thing that shows
a 2-second game in WarioWare. Now, WarioWare has dozens and dozens of games like that, and you play them all in a row, and they're broken down, they're compartmentalized by different categories and characters, and each character has his own weird set. And everyone's favorite is 9-Volt. 9-Volt's this kid. For sure. Yeah, he's this kid that plays NES games with his friend who's like a dog or whatever.
Yeah.
Or he's not even a dog. He's just like this big weird guy. He's like somebody's
older brother.
The
really oversized best friend.
If I was like a kid in the 80s and I came home with this like grown man, I was like, we're gonna play Nintendo games in the basement. My parents would be like, get that guy out of here. But they were like, they sit down and they play here's a version, hi, and there's voices in it and stuff like that. This was a Game Boy Advance game. It's incredibly weird, which they've done this thing for a while. They used to take their weirdest ideas and kind of dump them on Wario, which I love. Nintendo always, they have and now they did it with like Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, where they're like, give it to this bald dog. We get this crazy new idea. And it's honestly one of my favorite games of all time, and one of my favorite series. And it had its ups and downs, but the original is just so fantastic. It's really quick, really bite-sized, wonderful, tiny little games that you play in a row. And they get faster and faster and faster. And the more you play them, the more completely frantic it gets. And you're actually like screaming at the screen, like, no, gotta go, my God. But I was laughing with Jose before because there's the more you play them, the faster it gets, and the music keeps getting faster. And it's like dun 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 dun, wah ha ha ha. And that's one level, and it's like 4 seconds long. But by the end, it's like dun 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 wah. And you're like, oh my God, I can't do it. And it gets so fast, and you only have 3 hearts.
Well, and that's why I hope one of the sequels, WarioWare Twisted, I really hope it comes out here, because that's the one where you're like flailing and like swinging your GBA all over the place.
Twisted is brilliant. Again,
very iOS, very mobile game before any of that was even a thing. It's all motion control based, which means it could work on the 3DS or the Wii U.
Yeah. I don't know why I bring it up so often, but the cheese grater just blew my mind.
So good.
The way the cheese grater feels, it's so crazy.
Because it made that little
they use a rumble,
and
so for the first time they used a rumble to just kind of copy the feel of a real life thing, right?
Cheese grater.
And you're like, oh my God, it's like grating cheese.
Yeah.
So as you're playing, you start unlocking all these little mini games that are like they're much longer versions of some of the games inside of it, and a lot of them feel like Flappy Bird before that was even.
They
a
were
thing,
very much
like there's that paper airplane one that just it's an endless runner, and you're just basically dodging walls, and the paper airplane keeps going.
Yeah.
There's just so much, and they pack it with toys and all this other stuff. So it feels almost like the Smash Brothers mentality of like, here's this core thing, and here's like 50 other things you can do. So
ironically, it is again that would be a hit on iOS.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
That's like the game that everybody in an office building shows to another guy and say, like, check this out. And
check
like,
this
you gotta
out.
pick this guy's nose, right? Like, it's again, like that. They invented a game that is so universal that anyone can play. A kid can play. A grown up can play.
Yeah.
No,
it's one of those things like if you're like, hey, I have 2 minutes to kill. Here we go. And you're gonna play it. So, yeah. I mean, and we were playing it a little before. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. I was playing at your desk before, and I'm like, man, this looks awesome. Like it's like pixel perfect on the Wii U.
Yeah. So if check out on IGN, we put up a video talking about some of the emulation options on GBA. So if you are on the fence and you're not sure if you want to commit $7 or $8 towards some of these games, check out all the features it comes with. There's actually a lot more to the emulation than previous Virtual Console.
Yep.
Screen smoothing and pixel perfect mode for aspect ratio. before, Virtual Console did not approach that stuff. I think there was some controller configuration stuff, and that's it.
Yeah. This is the time, like anyone who never owned a GBA and you have a Wii U, now is the time to catch up on some really great games.
Oh, dude,
like, go for some of the best 2D games ever made, right? Like, play the Metroids that came out on GBA, play the Castlevanias that were out on GBA. Once all that stuff is out,
I hope those come.
Do try them. Like, those are perfect couch games you can play on the gamepad.
Also, I feel bad because we're not going to say much about the next one, but Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is also on sale this week for the same price, $6.99 US, and originally released in 2004. The thing here, too, to keep in mind, I know the common complaint is why aren't these GBA games on 3DS, and that is a fair complaint. But same time, I feel Wii U needs games right now. And if this is helping just build a little bit of that catalog, it's small potatoes, don't get me wrong, but it helps.
See, I see it as that's a great perk for people who own one and cool for people who never owned a GBA, but it's not like, oh my god, I get GBA games on the Wii U, whereas on the 3DS they would be much better at home. But anyway,
we'll see.
Anything is welcome.
Sure.